Hello everyone, my name is Meghan LeVota and I am an ENFJ and I make videos about personality typology and self-growth. Today I'm going to be answering one of your questions. If you have a question like this, feel free to comment below and I will perhaps use your question and give you a shout out in the next one. I'm going to be doing these Q&A videos every week, so keep asking your questions. Today I'm going to be answering the question from Sarah from my Facebook group. Sarah Kylion, I hope I am saying your name correctly. And if you aren't already in my Facebook group, that link is below, Personality Typology for Self-Growth. But Sarah, who I believe is an ISFP, asked me this question: how do you think that we can use personality systems such as mbti, enneagram, or Socionics for the raising of our consciousness and to be a better mankind, and to better mankind, she said. I thought this was an amazing question because it is very much tying all together everything I'm trying to do with my Facebook group, with my channel, with everything that I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to use these tools to help everyone improve, you know, their personal lives and their interpersonal lives. So thank you, Sarah, for asking this question. I'm about to go into that in this video, but I do just want to prepare you all that this is probably going to be a pretty rambly video because I have not quite hit the nail on the head with this, although I do know that this is the question that I'm trying to get at. And so you're probably going to notice my FE sort of rambling about stuff, trying to get to the point. So if you don't like those sort of videos where I'm just rambling, perhaps don't watch this one. Or perhaps do something else and put this one on in the back, or put this video on in the background while you're doing something else. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. Actually, I want to ask you all if you can comment and let me know, what sort of connotations do you have when you hear the word consciousness? And what sort of connotations do you have? What comes to mind when you think about things such as enlightenment or self-actualization or spiritual growth? I see that, you know, people talk about raising our consciousness a lot in spiritual communities. And I've intentionally been almost afraid to say this word because I don't want to turn anyone off to the wisdom that could have otherwise applied to them. So I kind of, if anyone's watching this, I would love to get a survey of what comes to mind when you think about raising your consciousness, or similarly raising your vibration, or whatever, aligning your chakras. See, all of these things sort of come to mind as similar to me, but they might not be similar to you. So I'm curious about that because I work for a New Thought organization and my beliefs are very new age. So that means that my beliefs are based on the law of attraction, which I know is a controversial statement, somewhat. The law of attraction implies that like attracts like. So I like to think of it as there's the law of attraction and then also manifestation. Your action, it's not just your thinking and feeling that can attract what happens to you, but also you can manifest what happens to you by taking action that is aligned with your thoughts and feelings. So I'm sort of operating under this framework, this very metaphysical framework. That's my background. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and I would love to make more videos about metaphysics and energy and how to use energy to attract and manifest things that you want or that your heart desires. Because personally, I believe that whatever your desire is your soul talking to you about something that is very important to you. Like, if you listen to your emotions, it can give you sort of a clue on why your soul is here, where you should go, where you want to go, the types of qualities that light you up. You can learn all of this from observing how your emotions react to your environment. So yeah, I'm also sort of operating under the assumption that there are multiple dimensions, and that the dimension that we are on now in Earth is 3D, but that there are infinite number of dimensions and timelines that exist at any time. And I'm also operating under the assumption that there are other planets out there that are not Earth, with their own way of being and all of that. So yeah, it's hard for me to not answer this question without using some of my spiritual New Age knowledge. So, and I don't know why I'm trying to separate them so much, but yeah, I'm operating off of a lot of assumptions when it comes to raising your consciousness. So what I would say to this is that the goal in raising our consciousness is that Earth is a very segmented planet. It's a very fragmented planet. The lower the vibration, the more divisive things are. There is the one, and then there are the parts. And if you're looking at it from a super high dimensional perspective, you'll say, oh, we are all one. And if you're looking at it from a lower dimensional perspective, you will notice all of the intricacies and all of the individualization that goes on. So raising our consciousness, to me, implies that we are integrating our own soul, so that if we can become one, if all of the different parts within ourselves can then become one, and if each individual can do that, then together we are all becoming one. And we're gonna, our bodies and the way that we interact with one another are going to more and more exude this higher dimensional truth that we are all one. I think that that is true, that we are all one. That is fact. But it's not always something that we see. It's not always a truth that is that we see reflected in our 3D reality. So, and this is also reminding me of Carl Jung's individuation process, and also sort of enlightenment or ego death, if you've heard of any of those concepts. I think that in order for there to be world peace, we need to find peace within ourselves. I work at Unity Worldwide headquarters. It's a New Thought organization. New Thought is pretty much a whole bunch of different beliefs wrapped in one that sort of share the idea of that the law of attraction and energy, the way you think and feel, exists metaphysically. I don't just think of it as a feeling. I think that if I have a feeling, then it exudes this sort of wavelength that you might not be able to see, but still exists as a physical thing. The same as like how light and music have frequencies. I think that feelings and thoughts have frequencies, and that humans in theory can telepathically communicate if we learn to tap into those frequencies. We have, sorry that I got a phone call so it cut out, but we have all of the brain processes to be able to do that. It just, we haven't done it yet, if that makes sense. So it exists as these frequencies, and New Thought believes that thinking and feeling, our thoughts and feelings exists outside of us as frequencies. And there's a song in Unity called the Peace Song that really inspires me, where it says, yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. With God as creator, family all are we, let us walk with each other in peace and harmony. Anyway, the point of that, the reason why I'm saying this is because peace begins with me. What is peace? Peace is the understanding of the metaphysical truth that we are all one. If we know that we're all one, we can't just like say that we're all one when we have all of these fragmented parts. It's not like, I mean, to be blunt, it's not like if you're in America right now, Republicans and Democrats can get together and just say, okay, we're all one. Like, we are all one, but the fact is, on this three-dimensional reality, they have parts of them, or all these divisions you see in culture, those are different opposing parts that exist. And in order to become all one, you need to figure out how to express those things as a whole and not pit the parts against each other, if that makes sense. All of these parts exist for a reason. If you look at your body, you have a heart and you have lungs, and those are different parts, but they all have the same goal of keeping you as an individual alive. But if you were to look at them individually, if you were a cell, would you know that those were the same thing? Like, you can divide things as much as possible, or you can lump things as much as possible. It doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of perception and where you're drawing the line. If you were a cell, you would have no idea that these two organs were essentially the same thing. But if you were another person, you would be like, oh yeah, that's a person. That's one thing. So, and we have different emotions and beliefs within ourselves that are fragmented. Like, if you've ever seen that meme where it's like, me, it's like the Kermit the Frog meme where it's like, me, also me. Like, me, man, I want to go shopping. Also me, has $1 in its bank account. Like, these sort of divisions within ourselves, we all have them. And I think that those divisions are reflected in the external world, because when we aren't acting as a integrated whole, then our actions are sporadic, and then that makes it harder for other people to understand how to respond, and then that creates conflict. And so, to go back to the question, how can we use these personality systems to raise the consciousness to better mankind? Well, we can use these systems by better understanding our own self, so that we can begin this process of integrating the parts of ourselves, becoming a more integrated whole, becoming less of a caricature of ourselves. That's what I think it's for. I think it's for recognizing I am an ENFJ. That means I have X, Y, and Z patterns, and that means that this is my shadow. Maybe Carl Jung would say it's for integrating. We can use these systems to integrate our shadow. Maybe someone would call it that we're trying to experience ego death, because Myers-Briggs, whatever system we're using, is our ego. And I don't think we should use these systems to cling to the ego. I think we should use them to understand the ego so that we can better use it to integrate, to be a more whole, complete version of ourselves, and to integrate the shadow. And if we integrate the shadow, then that means, for example, I, as an ENFJ, if I'm integrating the shadow, that means I'm integrating introverted thinking, which means that I am not just a bleeding heart activist. I actually have my opinions. Or for NI and SE, I'm not just an idealist. I actually get things done. See how that works? See how if you have your tertiary and your inferior function, it's like, man, I don't have to be chained to the top two functions. I can actually put my money where my mouth is. And for me, as an ENFJ, I can actually help the tribe if I actually have real ideas and real thoughts that are rational. It becomes not just this idealistic NF, man, I really want everyone to get along, and I could use SE and TI and actually do something to actually help people. And then if we can use these systems to really understand our shadow side, then we get to achieve our life mission. We get to do what we want to do. I want to use FE all day long. I want to help you. I want to life coach you, which, by the way, if you want to be life coached, link below. I want to help people. I want to like collaborate and stuff, you know? That's what I want to do. But I can't do that if I don't have any logical thought behind anything that I'm doing, or else everything I try is going to crumble down. I can't just sit and ideate along. I actually have to use SE and do things. So this is a system. It is a tool to help you grow. And if you grow, you're going to help the collective, because you're going to have the ability to do what you're put on this earth to do. You're going to be able to understand what your emotions and thoughts are trying to tell you, so that you can create a better impact. And if you are whole, if you can become whole through a system like this, then that's going to create an environment for everyone on earth to feel whole. You're going to create that inner peace, and you're going to exude peace everywhere you go. I believe in this more than anything that I believe in on this earth. I believe that it's possible because I've seen how it's shaped my friends. I see how it shaped me. And I see how differently I think about things since I've used this system. So, as far as a system for how to do that, buy my book in 10 years, okay? I don't know yet, but I'm getting there. I really want to be able to have specific self-help, specific how to evolve things for each type. Because if anyone here is interested in the law of attraction and manifestation, you should know that people have all these sorts of systems of like, oh, you need to focus on your emotion, oh, you need to visualize it, or oh, you need to think positive thoughts. Well, those systems don't apply to everyone. Everything in the self-help community doesn't apply to everyone. And that's what I want to do, is I want to make it apply to you. Because if you are interested in law of attraction and you are a feeler, you should not be focusing on your thoughts. You should be focusing on your feelings. And if you are a thinker, you should not be focusing on your feelings. You should be focusing on thinking positive thoughts and getting rid of limiting beliefs. Both of these things are important. But if we're focusing on the things that feel out of control to us, we're going to then feel more out of control. And we don't have to be everything. We just have to be an integrated whole version of us. So yeah, hopefully this answered your question, Sarah. I really love this topic, and I feel like this inspired a lot of other sorts of videos I can make around this topic. If anyone has a question, as I mentioned, comment that below, or just any other video ideas that you think could come out of this. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day.